It sure is. Who's next? Going once. Twice. All right. Then we shall move on from gratitude, wins and successes, and all of that good stuff. Remember, team, when you give gratitude, it is you that feels more fulfilled than the person you're giving it to. So when thinking of giving gratitude, it fulfills the person who is giving more than that is receiving. So consider that as we go through this next week and the week after. We usually push to about 11:35 in gratitude and cheers for peers. So I'll ask if there's one more, anyone that would like to give some positive energy.
I'll do a quick one. Sarah Warges here, and I would like to give gratitude to Jenna Raz. She has become a friend as well as an agent in the office, and she's been my motivation accountability buddy and motivated me to come to the office and to do mega camp and all that fun stuff. So I'm not sure if she's on this call, but I'm gonna send that out there to her anyways.
Thank you. That is awesome. And that is exactly what this section is all about. Hopefully she's on, because what we're about to break down here in a couple minutes is awesome. All right, anyone else? Going once?
Wait, real quick, I forgot somebody. I gotta give a shout out to Majendi. She saved my rear end yesterday. I had thought that I had registered for Mega Camp last week. She called to verify that I was registered. I told her I was registered, and I asked her to do me a favor and just double check to see if she sees me. And she called me back and told me I wasn't registered, and she got a hold of Sue, who got me registered. So again, I mean, these are just everybody on this call, take advantage. I mean, these are rock stars in this office. You don't have to do everything by yourself.
Yeah, so thankful. Thanks, Lance. All right, so let's dive into our mission, our vision, our values, our belief, and perspective. Let's get started with our mission.
Our mission: to build careers worth having, businesses worth owning, lives worth living, experiences worth giving, and legacies worth leaving.
Awesome. And our vision:
to be the real estate company of choice for agents and their customers.
And our values: God, family, then business. And our beliefs:
our beliefs: win-win or no deal, integrity, do the right thing, customers always come first, commitment in all things, communication, seek first to understand, creativity, ideas before results, teamwork, together everyone achieves more, trust starts with honesty, equity, opportunities for all, success results through people.
Awesome. And we are a technology company that provides the real estate platform that our agents, buyers, and sellers prefer. Keller Williams thinks like a top producer. We act like a trainer consultant and focus all of our activities on service, productivity, and profitability. Now, every meeting, we go through the mission, vision, values, belief, and perspective, and then stop for a second to talk about a mission moment. And I was thinking as we were going through our Cheers for Peers, something really stood out. And if you guys noticed, Lance came back on with a Cheers for Peers and said, I'd like to give a shout out to Majendi. I'd like to give a shout out to Majendi because she reached out to me and said, hey, I know you thought you were registered for Mega Camp, but you weren't. Would you like for us to get you registered? And we consider you, the agent, our customer. See, we believe as Keller Williams that the buyer and seller do business with you because they know you, like you, and trust you. Therefore, we believe that you are our client, so we pour into you so that you could be the best face for your brands in the workplace. And so, Majendi, for our mission moment, it's you, because customers always come first. And you went above and beyond, helped one of our top agents get into one of the most premier coaching events in the history of real estate. Guys, there will be over 60,000 agents attending Mega Camp next week. 60,000. So with that said, Majendi, thank you for being a part of our mission moment. And it brings us to kwX, which this is the mission statement for our holding company, kwX. And as we look at this, let's look at the bottom left, which says customer-driven, human-centered, bottom left, with relentless execution. And our executive team is relentless in our execution in providing a service for you so that you in turn can provide excellent service for your clients. Pretty cool. And want to change the gears real quick to recognize our July volume leaders and our closed unit leaders. Huge shout out to last month, Quentin, Elian, Ann, and Zola Feig in the I Love Miami Real Estate group. And in closed units, and Zola Feig, I Love Miami Real Estate, Elian Lance, who we just talked about, and RGT Home Experts. So a huge shout out to the top 5 in units and closed volume. This is on our Facebook group for you to download and blast all over social media so that pass it off to your clients, get it out there in the world. Our year to date and July top 20. So round of applause, kudos to you, well done. And with that said, let's dive into our stakeholder meeting moment. Now let's figure out how we're going to do this. So before I dive into that, let me share with each of you. This is the first notes I would take if you have your pad and pen. It is how to access Q2 market statistics to take more listings. How to access Q2 market statistics to take more listings. So the first thing you want to do is go to mykw.kw.com. mykw.kw.com. Majendi, if you could please put that in the chat group, that would be awesome. And what you're going to do is go down here to the bottom where it says Market Center 430 intranet. Market Center 430 intranet. Once you click that, it will bring you to this page, which is our intranet. As of last night, we were at 23 views, which is a lot better than we were before last meeting. And yet this is a huge tool that no other brokerage has to help you take more listings and help your buyers write stronger offers. So you come here and click this first. Whoa. We'll click right here, Q2 statistics, and it'll bring you to this page. Click article link, and it'll bring you right to where you need to go to access market statistics. All right, so wanted to point that out real quick. It is that important, y'all, that I talked about it last week, talking about it again, because this is the value that we provide for you so that you could go out there and take market share. If you don't use it, then it's no good. So with that being said, let's bring in our guests, David and Rafi. So guys, let me figure this out. I'm going to stop sharing and I'm going to put you guys on I'm gonna put you guys on whatever it's called to get you going. So here's David. Let's spotlight. And David, you're on. And Rafi, let's get you in here to add spotlight. Perfect. All right. So both of you are here, and I'm going to, I think, am I on the screen too, y'all? For everyone outside of me?
No.
No, I'm not.
I still see you in the box, but not just me and Rafi on the main screen.
Okay, well, hopefully I am, when I talk, I'm able to pop up, or in the recording I'm part, but really it's not about me. It's truly about you two rock stars, and all the recognition that comes from this, everyone that's on here, which is 40 outside of myself. This next, however long we chat, the three of us, it fulfills me, it fills my heart. And if I was anyone outside of the two of you guys, I'd have a pen and paper and ready to just jot down gospel. Now, with that said, first and foremost, what I'd love to do is each of you briefly introduce yourself. There's a lot of folks that are on here that are guests. There's some folks that have never had the opportunity to meet you or see you or hear. So with that said, just because David, you're the top on my screen, you go first.
Okay, great. Thanks for having me on, Lee, by the way, and good morning to everybody. My name is David Baez. I've been licensed for about 4 years going on now, 2017. I've been with Keller Williams for the last 2 years. I'm a South Florida native, so I'm born and raised here in North Miami Beach. And yeah, last year we closed, business wise, last year we did 10 million, 42 units. And this year we're already past that. So yeah, it's been great. I don't know if there's any other specific information you would like for me to share, Lee.
No, real quick, you just kind of summarize that. You last year closed 10 million, about 300,000 in gross income, and we're halfway through the year and you've already surpassed that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So guys, if you're not earning 300,000, anything David and Rafi share probably might be worthy of getting clarity on it and implementing. It's not every day that you get to hear from two rock stars that are willing to share what's working in their business. Rafi, tell us a little bit about you.
How are you guys? Glad to be here. So many people to really thank, but let's just get into the introduction. My name is Rafi Pinsky. I'm originally from Brooklyn. I spent most of my life there, moved to South Florida about 2.5 years ago. A couple of other things, have a degree in business, which I'll probably never use. I served as an infantryman in the Israeli military, and coming here to Florida, I worked in sales prior. I worked with different kinds of loans, not mortgages, but real estate loans and hard money and things like that. And when COVID hit, I switched to real estate, and I absolutely love it. It is an incredible fit for me. And thank God, I live right in the area. I'm 3 minutes from the office, so it only made sense to come to this office and be at Keller Williams. So thank God things have just been working very, very nicely. And I'm definitely not satisfied, but I'm grateful to be given this platform to speak.
So, and I'm grateful too. So Rafi is our leading runner in the Rookie of the Year. So Rafi, you're about 10 months into the business. And so as you're closing in momentum, what is your goal for next year? Meaning you're going to flow into the next couple months, which will hit your 1 year. What's your goal for the second year in the business?
The second year is definitely to double what I've done. And I think that's extremely doable. Hopefully even triple. I'm hoping to definitely make GCI wise, hopefully a minimum of 150 and more. And it's just a lot of it is doing the things I'm already doing. And I was I just heard somebody.
Yeah, no, that was me accidentally opening up our Facebook.
So right, so doing what I'm already doing, being consistent, showing up every day, and constantly learning. There are a lot of things I know I need to implement. To be quite honest, it does come down to capital. So as time goes on, I'll be implementing more and more things. But to a large degree, it's just having the right people around, and David's definitely one of those people.
Yeah, no, we're all gonna learn today from the perspective of both of you. So Rafi, let me ask you this. So you're 10 months in, and clearly you're a different agent today than you were 10 months ago. And so if you were speaking to an agent who just got started or who's struggling, what do you wish you knew then that you've now know now?
It's a great question. What would I say? I would say for me, it's so important to get on the field as soon as possible. I think a lot of people have analysis paralysis, and to be quite honest, I don't really think I had that problem. I was very willing to jump right in. From the beginning, I was doing it full time. I wasn't doing it half and half. For me, I think there were a lot of things I was already implementing. It was just a question of knowledge, of knowing what I had to do. So always make sure to get guidance. Don't think that you can do anything by yourself. So sometimes I can be a little bit stubborn and think that I know things that I don't. But ultimately, I mean, for me, I think it's just a question of timing. It's not a matter of if, but when.
Yeah, there's no doubt. And I think in summary, it's get out there and get dirty. Get out there and go on appointments. Get out there. You don't need to know it all. Just get out there and learn by doing.
Absolutely.
You
can be in all the meetings. You can be in 500 meetings, and there are meetings that give considerable value. But if you aren't willing to actually get on the floor and you're constantly, well, I need a little bit more practice. Let me just watch these additional videos. Then you're never truly ready, because you're going to have to make those mistakes in the field. You have to jump in the pool. You can't just dip your toes in and expect things to happen.
Yeah, no, spot on. So David, let me bounce off of you. What do you know now that you wish you knew 2, 3, 4 years ago when you got started?
I mean, it's a great question. And unlike Rafi, my first year, I mean, he killed me in my first year numbers. My first year, I made $15,000. And that's because of simply not knowing what to do and not having the right guidance. I mean, when I really joined this company and seeing what a coach can do, that's when I really started seeing results in my business. So I think if I can point out one thing, is finding a mentor or a coach as soon as possible.
Yeah, and do what they ask you to do.
And do what they say without asking questions.
Right.
When they tell you to jump, don't ask any questions, just say how high.
Yeah, for sure. And I think, David, you epitomized that, because when we got together finally here at Keller Williams, you were at an online company before, with a couple initials, and you came over, and in your first year, you doubled your income.
Yeah, and been doubling it ever since.
And you doubled again, and then you're in the process of doubling again. What do you owe this massive growth year over year over year?
I think simply it would be, and going back to the first question of what I would have told myself, another thing I would have said is just simply decide that you're going to be successful in this business, that you're willing to do whatever it will take to reach your goals, whatever that may be. Not everyone here has a big goal like I do of eventually being an MREA and making $1 million or more and building other businesses. Whatever your goal may be, whether it's making 50, 100, 150K a year, just make sure that you have the schedule to prove that, because there's a saying that goes around, show me your schedule and I can guess how much money you have in your bank account. So that's something big that I learned early on as well from Alan Waxman, our OP, is the first thing he taught me is when I asked him a question, if he can show me, he said, show me your schedule. And at that point, I didn't have one. He said, sorry, I can't coach you at the moment. So I actually had to go back. And that's when I really started seeing the power of not only having a mentor, but having a schedule and committing to it.
I love this. And that leads me right into what I wrote as my next question. What does a perfect day look like? And Rafi, I'm going to ask you the next question, but since David's in the flow, David, what does a perfect day look like as a schedule?
A perfect day looks like to me is lead generate. Well, first, waking up at your desired time, having time to plan your day, which for anyone that doesn't know, another great saying is your day begins the night before, not the morning. So the night before is planning out my day. So when I wake up, it's a similar schedule. It's prospecting from 8 to 12. Sometimes I'll get on a little later, a little earlier, depending. I have 2 kids, so it depends. But mainly getting that prospecting every day. To me, I'm not focused on closings. I'm not focused on pendings. If I didn't set a seller appointment or if I didn't prospect that day, to me, technically, I was not in business that day.
All right, Rafi, lobbing it up to you.
I couldn't agree more. The morning is so vital. So for me, I have to have my gym in the morning. It makes me feel like $1 million. And then I feel like I can just tear up the rest of the day. So the calls, I make sure to set aside the time blocking as soon as I get in. So whether it's 8-ish, 9-ish, or 10-ish, I make sure to make those hours. If I don't make up those hours in the morning, I make sure to make them up anytime in the afternoon or evening. I do my best to set my appointments. And thank God I've built a large network of leads that I'm working with. And, there's just, there's always something to be done. There's always work to do. I never really have a moment where I'm just kind of sitting around. I can always kind of do that if I want to, but there's always something to be done. So, like David said, lead generation is, if you aren't lead generating, you aren't in business. If you aren't making the calls, you aren't in business. So that's how I see it as well.
Yeah. Well, let's dive into that. You said you have a pipeline of leads. How did you generate a pipeline of leads?
Well, interestingly enough, I did not like Instagram before I became a realtor. I had Facebook for years, was never a big picture taker. Friends of mine would take pictures and tag me. I just never really cared for it. And I realized before I started working as a realtor that I needed to leverage social media or I would get stuck behind. And for people who are older than me, they often find it even more difficult they use their index fingers to text and they just can't figure out this stupid Instagram. So if you can leverage social media, you have a very, very big edge because you can indirectly advertise who you are. In addition, I have a podcast for whoever doesn't know about this. It's called Soothing Semantics. And David, I plan on getting you on. I've already had Leon. I've had some very interesting guests already. And this is, thanks for sharing, Robbie. I had Muhammad Ali's ex-wife. I've had millionaires. I've had all different kinds of very interesting people. And this is also a way for people to get to know me before actually meeting me. So it's a way, again, to indirectly market myself. And I hope to monetize that. I'm treating it like a business. I love it. I have an editor in Pakistan. He takes care of my editing. So I can actually work as a realtor and not have to worry about hours and hours and hours of editing content. And I think it's just finding clever ways, outside of the box ways to market yourself where you aren't like everyone else, and I'm very confident the podcast will grow. I'm very consistent, haven't missed a week since I started a year ago. I started the same time as my real estate career. So that's huge.
Yeah,
that's absolutely huge.
And you led me into my next question, which you said you're treating your podcast, which guys, go to the chat. There's a link, subscribe. Please subscribe. Check out my episode. He had Rosa and then he had a Sosa the next week. And the week after mine was far more interesting than my interview. But I'll tell you guys, go there. You'll it's great listening while you're in the car or on a walk. You do a great job, Rafi. Thank you. You said you treat your podcast as a business. And so leverage. What does leverage mean to you and how important is it in growing your businesses? So Rafi, go first.
Great question. So I'm on coaching. Aaron Novello is my coach. For whoever doesn't know, Aaron Novello is, he's in the plantation area. I think he's part of the Fort Lauderdale office, if I'm not
Plantation
mistaken.
office.
Yeah, so anyway, he is a phenomenal coach, a highly successful realtor, very, very successful guy, and extremely articulate. I can go all day with this guy. Just every coaching call I'm on with him blows my mind. He's always teaching me something different. And as far as leverage goes, there's also something, there's the notion of proximity. When you want to build a business and you don't exactly have the skills yet, or you haven't built a huge tree of clients, it's so important to get in front of people and connect with people who are doing more than you. Because most people tend to do the opposite. They tend to associate with people who are doing less than them, so they feel better. But on the contrary, if you are trying to grow anything, you want to be with people who are more knowledgeable, wealthier, whatever the case may be. So this way you have the desire and the push to do better. So I'm constantly doing it, whether it's on my podcast or my real estate career. I want to do my best to associate myself with people who are extremely motivated and who are walking the walk and talking the talk. So, and I'm very strict of, I don't really like to be around people who aren't. So I say hi to them, but I'm not going to make small talk. I don't have the time. It's not going to get me where I need to be. And I don't really, I'm not looking to hurt feelings, but at the same time, if you're not about it, then I don't really need to be, I'm just that's how I think, very blunt about it. So,
and the collateral is you're on pace to be rookie of the year. So what you're doing is working. It's setting a tone. And David, what does leverage mean to your business? How are you leveraging where you are in the maturity of your business?
I mean, basically, just to give everyone an overview, it's me and my wife. So we have a husband and wife team. My wife is mostly dealing with the administrative stuff. We just actually hired a VA a couple months ago, which has been phenomenal in leveraging our time, especially with kids, and wife's able to do more things as well. So aside from that, we also have 2 showing agents. So when we have a buyer come in, we don't show them property, we have that. But to answer your question, leverage has definitely changed our life. I mean, just by us talking, going back to the numbers of us doubling our business this year and making more money than we ever have, we've actually I've been working half the time that we worked last year.
Hold on. You are on pace to double last year's income, and you're working half of the time.
Correct.
That sounds like leverage to me.
Yeah. And it sounds like a life by design, right?
Yes.
So now I'm able to spend more time with my kids. I mean, if it's outside of the 5 main roles of a real estate agent, which is lead generation, follow-up, sitting on appointments, negotiating contracts, and practicing role play. If it's outside of that, it really should not be in my schedule, is what I've come to find out. And I'm still getting there. I'm not perfect. I mean, it's just a day by day, just step by step. So to answer your question, I mean, leverage has definitely changed our life. It's not only helped us live better quality lives with our kids, but also make more money.
Well, and I want to stay with you, David, because Rafi nailed this, and I have the opportunity to coach with you, and you invested in a real estate coach, as well as our dialogue on a weekly basis. How has your real estate coach impacted your business?
Oh, tremendously. It's not something that I would say most people expect that when they hire a coach, they're going to get to 0 to 100 overnight. And it doesn't work like that. They're completely going to revamp you and try to revamp your business to not change what you are doing, but instead add on top of that. So that way you can eventually get to the goal that you want to get, which next year I have a goal of doing, I'll say at least 100 units. So it's a big goal for me. So I know in order to get there, I need guidance from somebody that has not only done it, but somebody that's doing it consistently. So my coach is Jeff Glover, and Greg Erlanger. Greg Erlanger is my one-on-one coach. Jeff Glover is the head coach on top of him. So, I mean, these are guys that are heavy hitters. They're both number 1 in their state, which is where I want to be. They both own market centers, which is where I want to be one day. They both own massive amounts of investment properties and get passive income. So that's the main goal. So to answer your question, my coach has got me seeing bigger than I can ever see. I mean, now he's telling me, hey, 100 units for you is not big. I see you doing 300, 400, 500 units at one point. So it's something that has me thinking a lot bigger. And I just gotta, just feel the fear and do it anyway. So that's what a coach does for you.
So let's dive in there, and that's awesome, David. So here's a question for both of you. How many hours are you focused on generating leads daily?
For myself, I say at least 2 to 4.
At least 2 to 4 hours a day, you're focused on generating new business. And Rafi, how about yourself?
Definitely 2 to 4 hours, and I can confidently say most days more than that.
And so here's another Spitfire question. What are your 2022 goals?
My 2022 goals, 100 units, 30 million.
Awesome. And Rafi?
About 24 and about 150,000. And I definitely want more than that, but this is what I'm.
And we'll rock it. You have to imagine it first, and then we create systems to get there. So here, I want to switch gears because I want to turn this into a little fun. I want you guys
And I just want
to
to add something really quick as well. Going back to what Rafi said about social media and leveraging it, it's something very important. So even though I'm putting in my 2 to 4 hours prospecting, which is direct calls, direct text messaging, in the afternoon, if I don't have any appointments, and this has brought me tremendous results, I simply just open up my Facebook and Instagram. I literally go on everyone that is not in real estate, that is their birthday and anniversary, their dog died, they just bought a dog, and simply just congratulating them. And it's a way of going back to what Rafi said, is staying in front of people in every way possible. So just by you wishing somebody a happy birthday, that's you touching them without you even realizing.
Awesome.
So, and that has come from people after, sending me messages, hey, I want to sell my house after and stuff like that. So, and that's not even somebody that I really prospected. It's just, nurturing on social media over time.
I love that. So here's a question. Why do some agents succeed and many fail?
I would say that many of them fail to have a schedule.
That's simple.
And if you don't, I guess I forgot how the saying is, but if you don't plan your day, you're planning to fail.
Oof.
The way I see it.
Yeah. Rafi, what do you, in your 10 months, why do you think so many agents don't make it?
There's so many things that come to mind because I like analyzing people a lot. So, it helps me learn. So many people just don't want to do what it takes. They just don't. They don't want to be, whether you're in the office or you're home, they don't want to do the work. They just don't. They say they do. They want the rewards of it, but they don't really want to work. Then some people are just too robotic. They just want to be led instead of leading, because as a realtor, it's, you're essentially, you are your own leader. You're your own boss. It's important to have that mentality. It's important to be able to think outside the box. And there's so many ways to build a business. Obviously there's certain systems to follow, and there's certain things that work. So if it ain't broke, why fix it? But there are things that you can think of, and this is why I love a business like real estate, is because you can build a podcast, you can make this marketing video that's brilliant. I've seen this specific marketing video, and I'll send it to you, Lee, so everybody can see it. This woman created this brilliant marketing video with like these kids. It's hilarious, but it really sends this message home. So just thinking of something different. There's so many other things there. They don't want to, we were talking about leverage. So not allowing your business to be delegated, because you always want to do everything yourself. And if you don't delegate, you're going to hit a ceiling. You can't build a business if you're not delegating. It works with my podcast. It works that way with real estate. I have a TC. I'm God willing, in the near future, going to have an assistant. And all the income servicing activities I want to delegate. I don't. Those aren't going to make my business profitable. So, meaning if I'm doing them. So that's what
I think it comes down to just like what Rafi was saying. To dumb it down, a lot of people want instant gratification in the business. They expect that they're going to come in and show up for 2 weeks or 2 months or 2 years and expect that they're going to be somewhere. And I think another thing is that a lot of people come in with a plan B. Myself, I burned the ships as soon as I came in.
I was going to bring that up. Do it. Give it.
And I told myself, many people say, oh, if this doesn't work out, I can go do this. I can go do something else. And Alan just posted something great on the chat, which is, something that I did in the beginning. You have to decide. People think that it's be, do, have. It's not the other way around. People think that when they get the money or when they get the results, they'll become a successful real estate agent. I see it as you have to decide that you're going to be a successful real estate agent before the results come.
Yeah.
So you have to do that and then take it step by step and burn the boats. For me, is I have to succeed at this whether I like it or not. I mean, most people know my story, but it goes deeper than that. I mean, I got in a lot of trouble in my early adult years. I got convicted for some crimes that I didn't do. So it's not like I can say, hey, I'm going to go do this or go get this corporate job. I can't. So I have to make sure that I'm able to provide for my family. And I'm grateful that I was approved by the Florida board to get my real estate license, and originally came in just trying to make 50, 60K because that's the most anybody in my family ever made. So I looked at that as success. So I was like, as long as I make 50 or 60,000, I was like, I'm good. At least I could pay my bills. I could, take my kids to a nice restaurant here and there. But now we can do that every day if we want to. And, our vision is much bigger than that now.
Yeah, I love that, David. Because before I got into real estate, I was making 35, 40,000 with overtime. And one of my goals was to pay that much in taxes, because that's how you're crushing it, right?
Yeah, that's awesome. It's like that. It's like another person I was just hanging out with. It was like, you can either be the person that wants to make 50, be with the group that wants to make 50 or 60K a year, or be with the group of people that say, hey, 50 or 60K in a month is a bad month. Yeah. So, that's the type of people that I'm with now. And I've always thought that you have to work hard to make a lot of money. That's not really you have to work hard. It's think and grow rich, not work harder and grow rich.
Yo, we are dropping all these nuggets. So I want to climb back up to something, Rafi, and then you hammered home, which is there's so many ways to skin a cat. There's so many ways to generate a lead. There's so many ways to succeed in this business. And there's a connection that was made between the two of you. And not that you two aren't on this rocket ship driving and building massively successful businesses, but that you are both taking advantage of a tool that we have for all of our agents, which is a chat group that was created months ago. And so I'll let you guys tell the story, but there's so many lessons in this. And so for those of you that aren't paying attention, this is the part that you may want to pay attention to, because it's so simple. And yet, Rafi, you slowed down enough to do a few simple things. And David, you're always looking for the opportunity. So I'll let you guys tell this little bit of a story where, Rafi, you took a moment. Well, first off, I want you to say how you got the listing, and then the few steps that you did that warranted the dominoes, if you will. So fire away, Rafi.
All right, so this is a great story. Well, I got this listing through an expired cold call, essentially through a call, and I spoke to the lady, and initially she wasn't really ready to list, as they always aren't. And I pre-qualified her. I really got to the bottom of it. She unfortunately had cancer not too long ago. Thank God she's in remission, if that's the correct term. And she had some procedures. She's still undergoing some procedures. And I met with her. I understood. I got to the bottom of it and realized that she was going through a lot and did want to sell. She just needed to sort things out. So I went to meet her. And she has family in Colombia, and they have money there that they want to bring over to here and put into a property. Right now, it's just with inflation, they're losing money every day. And I got her in touch with my title attorney, who gave her some advice. Then he gave me the number of a trust attorney. We sorted everything out. The trust attorney explained what she could do and how we can work this out. And essentially, we're going to sell this unit, which is already under contract in one day. We'll get into that. We are going to sell this unit for $112,000. She'll get her net. Then she's already in process of taking that money from Colombia, and she's going to put it into a property for about $200,000. So that'll resolve all those issues. We put the listing up. She was initially a little bit nervous about how things would go. Another thing that I've learned with Aaron Novello is there's a time where a client has a logical concern and an emotional concern. And a lot of the time people are constantly trying to hit at the logic, not realizing that the thing stopping this person from proceeding may be an emotional issue. So it's important to have the intelligence of rationale and also of emotion. So in that case, I realized that a lot of it was emotion, and she just needed to have all of her worries sorted. So once we put the listing up, I sent it out to the KW group on WhatsApp, and that day I get.
Yeah, I'm pulling it up. I have the screenshot. You keep going.
Yeah. So that day I got a knock on the door from David Baez, and David goes, "Hey, bro, I saw your listing. I got a buyer for you, cash." I said, "All right."
Don't forget the best part, Rafi, is cash, no contingencies, 0-day inspection.
Yes, indeed. So I was thrilled because I had David co-list a property with me. That unfortunately didn't work out. The seller had some complications, but I was always looking forward to working with David. So when he told me about it, I was stoked. I was just really, so thank God I had some other offers. This was the highest and best offer, and we proceeded, and my client is thrilled. She is extremely happy. She was thanking me profusely when I went to her to get everything signed, and she had a huge smile on her face and said that here we are. That's it.
And this is just to prove to all the other agents on the call that whether you have business or whether you don't have business, there's always somebody out there that needs your help today. Don't forget about what happened yesterday. It doesn't matter if you took 10 listings yesterday. There's a new person every day that needs your help. And that just goes to prove it. And my side of the story is very touching as well, because the buyer is actually buying this property. I'm actually buying his current house. So his wife just passed away earlier this year, and I met him through a social site, and he mentioned that he needed to sell his house. And when I saw it, I thought it was a very good opportunity. We're actually closing on it next month, right before we close on with Rafi. And we're turning that property into an Airbnb. It's close to Young Circle in Hollywood, perfect location. So it's going to be one of our main big investments. We're doing a flip also right now. And that's just going back to the vision that we had back then. You know, sometimes it's surreal to think that I'm already doing the things that I wanted to do 3 years ago, and it's just happening so fast. But, you know, it's a similar story with Rafi. This guy needed help. And now that we're buying his house, he says, hey, you know, I need to buy a condo because, you know, I'm alone now. I need something small, something that's on the first floor. And, in due time, Rafi came out with this listing, and I knew that it would be perfect for him.
Well, it's in due time, and he was purposeful in using the tools that we've created in our market center to help every one of our agents sell more real estate.
If it wasn't for the group chat, I don't think it would have found out. And probably by the time I would have found out, it would have been under contract.
100%.
So there's no doubt. And that's why this story, I mean, I didn't know the whole backstory, David, that there was a domino effect to get to this point. And Rafi, you had a domino effect to get to the point too. And the common denominator here is that we have a chat group that every one of our agents has the ability to get on. If you'd like to get into that chat group, just reach out or say me in the chat, and we'll make sure that we send you an invitation to get into the WhatsApp. And the purpose of this group is to share listings that you have, ask questions so that we can direct you to the right resources. Awesome. I am so
very valuable.
100%. So Rafi, very thankful. Thank you, David. Super grateful and thankful that you guys took time out of your day. David, I want to pivot to you real fast. About 6 weeks ago, I reached out to you and said, hey man, you qualify to go to Austin, Texas to be at Mega Camp in person.
Yes.
Mega Camp starts on Tuesday of next week. We're going to talk about this in a couple minutes with everyone on the call. But David, you qualified. I said, hey, you'd have to buy a ticket. It's going to be $800. You're going to have to get a plane ticket, a hotel. And I think I might be exaggerating, but it was about 45 seconds. And you said, I already registered.
Not only registered, I registered, booked the hotel and the flight.
And so there's 40-something agents on this call. And what advice would you give as to why you registered so fast and so many agents are hesitating on this call to engulf in Mega Camp, which starts on Tuesday. What value are you looking to take away from the event?
That's a great question, Lee. I mean, with these events, there's so much value that goes out there, no matter where you are in your business, that, I mean, the way that I look at it and the reason why I joined to all these seminars and businesses, not only that you get to rub shoulders with people that are doing much more than you and that are also focused on growth, but also this I believe that when you think you know everything and you stop learning or stop wanting to learn, you start dying. Your businesses start dying, at least. So you have to be, one of the key to success is to always be a consistent learner, to always want to grow. If not, you're always going to be hitting plateaus, and that's why many people get out of the business. So I see it as that if you want to grow your business, you want to learn more, you want to learn what other people, what they're doing, that are doing much more business than you. Join these groups. I mean, this money is gonna come back to you tenfold if you really go into it wanting to learn and really go into it with the commitment and the desire to grow your business. And not only your business, but yourself personally as well, because that all falls into place. So to me, it's a no-brainer. To me, it's not money spent, it's an investment. So as long as you're investing in yourself constantly and you're dedicated to growing and dedicated to being the best that you can be, how the MRA says, I always mention this to you, is my favorite quote, it's not about the money, it's about being the best that you can be, not just in business, but also in your personal life. And that there's no excuse. It's like you said, there's many ways to skin a cat in this business. So there's really no excuse for nobody to be succeeding or hitting the goals or making the money that they want.
Awesome, David. I thank you. I don't think there's anything else I can add to that. Guys, mark down the Zoom. If we could put it in the chat or put it on our Facebook group so that everyone can click and join at 1 o'clock, which is in about 45 minutes from now. Our Waxman group is leading What to Know Before You Go Mega Camp, which starts on Tuesday of next week. On Monday evening, there is a script off. However, on Tuesday, we are flowing into what's going on here. Oh,
Lee, I have a quick question.
hold on, David. Hold on here. Let me go through. Go ahead. You're up.
Oh, I was just gonna ask a follow-up question regarding Mega Camp. How much is Mega Camp so everyone can know?
$129.
$129. I had just paid, I think, $700 or $800. I mean, it was in person, but for $129, you said?
Yep.
Who would not want to grow their business and have the potential to double, if not triple, their business for $129?
Well, and David, if that's not enough, Catherine at Van Dyke and Ariana at Harbor Title are sponsoring lunch for everyone that attends in person. We're bringing in lunch. And so our sponsors, our vendors, everyone understands the power of Mega Camp. And this is an event that changed my career. It has the opportunity to change yours. And as you said, David, $129. And you have all the recordings. And you have all the recordings for months after. So you can internalize and watch over and over and over again. We're creating an event for you guys. We're creating an event. And check this out. This is one of the first classes. Gamify your database. How to build a database and communicate with it is a class we're going to be having across the street. In our training room at 2:20 on Tuesday, we're going to have how to get more and convert online leads. We're also going to have how to lead generate in a high demand market, meaning a sizzling hot buyer's market. These are all courses that are part of Mega Camp that we're going to create an experience in our market center. And we rented a room here in the building where we can house 50 agents comfortably, COVID protected, and be a part of energy and have lunch and participate together. So as I go through, guys, these are the courses that you have access to over and over and over again. How to leverage your listings to set yourself apart.
And also, if they join us like in the morning, we're also gonna have breakfast. So it's gonna be breakfast and lunch.
What?
So
So,
join us really early in the morning.
all right, so let's talk about that, Sue. So on Tuesday morning at about what time?
10 a.m.
We're gonna have what?
breakfast.
Okay, so we're gonna have breakfast at 10 a.m. Here, let me kind
She
of.
said rice and beans in the afternoon.
So yeah, I kind of go
Mr.
back
David.
up to, let me go back up here. So this here is a snapshot, guys. So Tuesday morning at 10 a.m., we're going to have breakfast in the location that we're housing. We can have 40 to 50 agents comfortably spread apart and safe.
Yes.
At 11 a.m., Gary Keller takes the stage. We're going to have music, we're going to have energy, and we're going to have an environment that is conducive to learning. Then we're going to have lunch catered in, where we will then have all the breakouts in the market center and in that room till 4 p.m. Then Wednesday morning, we're going to have breakfast, then flow into the cultural summit, which is a important piece of leaving Mega Camp inspired and bring perspective into life and business. Then flow into Gary Keller on stage at 11. Lunch will be catered in, and then we will have our breakouts in the afternoon. And as David said, hey, at $129 and you have the recordings, it's a no-brainer.
And for those of you that need help registering, I'm able to help you. So if you want to call me at the office or just write it up in the chat, I'll be more than glad to register you guys. I could use the credit card that we have on file, or you could provide a new credit card and I'll be able to do it for you.
What's up, Rafi?
I regret it.
Just wanted to, before we finish the call,
Yeah.
just wanted to ask if everyone could subscribe to the podcast on YouTube.
Yes, please subscribe.
I'm doing that now.
The link is in the chat. Rafi, if there's a better link that you want to put in there, please put it by all means, and check out my episode. I'm at like almost 60 views. I'd like to think that you're going to walk out of that knowing a little bit more than when you went in. It was my pleasure recording it, and absolutely, Rafi, it would be my pleasure to keep promoting your product.
Lee,
Thank
Yes,
you so much.
Alan, come on down.
can I make a compelling argument for Mega Camp?
Please do.
First, I'd like to congratulate Rafi and David. David, I love you. You are, I know your story. I was just a kid with you and say you outkicked your punt coverage when you met your wife and she agreed to marry you. I think she got as good a part of the deal, if not better. You're an incredible human being. I'm honored to tell you I love you and you're my friend. Rafi, I look forward to getting to know you better. And Lise told me nothing but really good things about you. And if there's anything I could do for you, my mobile number is 561-558-7821. Lee has it, Sue has it, they can get it back to you.
Yeah, we've spoken before.
Yeah,
over the
no, I
phone. It was
know.
a while back. Yeah. So I have your number.
Yeah, I know.
And thank you,
You asked
Alan.
me
I
some
really
really good
appreciate
questions. You asked me some really good questions before you even got started. Yeah, I remember.
I do that. I'll just ask whatever.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. So here's my question. Lee, can you take me off the big view, or did I do that? I'd like to look at everybody. Can I see everybody, or do I do that? Here, hold on. I could do that.
Yep, you're good.
Hold on.
The top right, the view.
Yeah, gallery.
Yep.
All right, perfect. Gallery. I'm gonna get out of this chat. All right, now I'd like everybody to take themselves off mute. Everybody. That means everybody.
Everybody off mute.
Everybody. I'm gonna wait because I still see a lot of Lance. Thank you for that card. It meant a lot. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome, sir.
Yeah. Okay, so here's my here's my question. And I need everybody to answer me. And I know it's going to sound really loud. It doesn't matter. If you had gotten into trouble and you needed a criminal defense attorney, and if you hired a poor criminal defense attorney, you would spend time in jail. And if you hired a great criminal attorney that would cost more, you wouldn't go to jail. Which one would you hire?
The great one.
The good
Everybody
one.
answer me. Everybody,
Expensive one.
when
It
everybody
depends. It depends on your situation and your money. Money talks.
The only answer is you would hire, unless you want to spend time in jail. I don't know who that was. But if you like staying,
borrow the money.
if you like being in prison and not being allowed to do what you want to do, and being locked up for 23 hours a day, maybe everybody I know would do whatever they needed to do to find the money to hire the attorney that would keep them out of prison. Second question is, if you had a life-threatening illness and needed an operation, and you knew that by hiring the best surgeon, he or she would save your life and you would live a long, prosperous life, or you take your chances with someone who just got out of medical school and might die, which one would you hire?
Good one.
Everybody.
Yes.
The best.
Well, here's the deal. If you don't go to mega camp, you're not sharpening your axe. And here's what I know. Our homes are the most expensive asset the majority of us own. And anybody on this call who thinks that someone is going to gift you their biggest asset because you have the same name as them, or because you're sweet, and they know you don't know what you're doing, you're fooling yourself. So for anybody like Rafi, who got into this business for all of the right reasons and is doing what he needs to do to succeed in year one, everybody has the same opportunity. Everybody. Lee, myself, we have our mega camp stories. Heck, I met my partner in mega camp. Had it not been for mega camp, I might not be here. Possible. Maybe not probable. I don't know, but possible. Maybe he'd have chosen someone else. And yet, we all think that this is an option. It's not an option. And for those of you who don't know me, ask those of you who do, I'm a passionate person. You going is not going to change my life. However, I'm 100% certain it'll change yours. And if you choose not to go, that's a choice. If you choose to go, that's a choice. But here's what I know. If you choose to go, you are going to be standing on the shoulders of giants. You are going to hear messages and be taught things by people who are doing hundreds of millions of dollars in real estate a year. You're going to hear from leaders who've built the biggest companies and the biggest businesses in the world. Heck, you're going to hear from Gary Keller, who's built the largest, most successful real estate company in the world. You're going to hear from Mo Anderson. You're going to hear from Jason Abrams. You're going to hear from Mark King. And you're going to hear from the best of the best of the best real estate sales professionals. The story I told up front was just to get you to listen. And the reason I asked everybody to take themselves off mute and answer is because that's how you get someone engaged. Of course, we would hire the best criminal attorney, stay out of prison. Of course, we would hire the best surgeon so we could live a great life. It's a no-brainer. Your clients are only going to hire. Listen to me. They're only going to hire the better realtor. You might get one deal if you're lucky, but they're only going to hire the better realtor. They'll still be your friend. Trust me. I know it's happened to a lot of people. With that, I hope to see you in Mega Camp. Thank you for the time, Lee.
Oh, my pleasure. Anytime you share your wisdom, it fulfills me, and hopefully, guys, this moved the needle a little bit for those of you that have been on the fence. Again, we will register you. All you have to do is say, please do. We'll use the card on file. We encourage you to attend in person so you can feel the energy. However, if for whatever reason you don't feel safe, it's digital. You can access it at home, and the recordings will be available for a month or two after the event, so you can listen over and over and over again. So again, if you'd like for us to register, please register me in the chat. Catherine, come on down, and then Ariana, go right after Catherine. And we are grateful that you two are sponsoring our event tomorrow. I'm sorry, our event next week. And thank you. So Catherine, come on down, and you'll have the floor next week in front of everybody as well.
Hi, everybody. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Catherine Page. I'm with Van Dyke Mortgage. I'm the in-house lender in that amazing elite office. I'm very happy to sponsor lunch next week. I've been to Mega Camp 3 times. I love it. I think you're all crazy if you don't sign up because it's amazing. The breakout sessions are so cool. You pick and choose what you want to learn. You're with like-minded people. It's amazing. I love it. So I will see you guys there. Thanks to Ariana. The other day we did a nice Q&A. We had a pretty good turnout. So thanks to all of you guys that came. I hope you got something out of it. We're going to make it a monthly event. That's pretty much it. Things are moving quickly. They're not delayed anymore. The COVID restrictions have lifted on most things. So appraisers are doing things quickly. Titles coming in sooner. Everybody's happy. The one thing that I am seeing though, just so you know, and I know we're over time, but people are taking cash out of their homes to buy property with cash because they're losing deals over people that have cash. So I'm seeing this rash of people that have no mortgages, refinance, taking cash out to purchase. So the purchase business is still there, but I think you're going to see more cash. At least that's what I'm seeing on my end. So anyway, guys, I'll see you all next week. Thanks for the time, Lee. I'll see you on Tuesday.
Yes, looking forward to it. And again, thank you for being a sponsor and a asset to our agents.
Thank you, Catherine.
All right, Ari, come on down and close us out.
Thank you so much. And yeah, we had a great Q&A session earlier this week. People were really involved, brought some great questions, and it was a nice dialogue to get back and forth with the agents and to, you know, set a tone that we're here for you guys to leverage you. And that's kind of what this meeting has been all about. And I'm so grateful to be a part of it because I am an entrepreneur myself. I run my own business, and so much of what is offered through Keller Williams is helpful to me in my own business as well. Just the lessons that have been talked about this entire meeting, what David has said, what Rafi has said, that's like those are jewels. I wish that I would have had someone telling that to me when I started out. For the business perspective, how do you run a law practice? How do you run a title company? What have been your pitfalls? And to have that kind of collaboration is invaluable. So I am so happy to be part of a market center that offers that to its agents, because there's nothing like that resource. And that's also what Catherine and I are here for. That's why we're integrated into this family, right? We're here to help become part of the team so you guys can you know, pass that along to your prospective buyers and sellers, to have that team and to use that kind of leverage to succeed. And I am so grateful to be part of that. And I continue to learn from all of the information that's presented within this market center and that will be presented at Mega Camp. So thank you for the opportunity for me to be a part of this and to help me run my business better too.
Amen. All right, thank you. You are an
Yes.
asset. Yes, yes, and yes. And so Jen C, Stephanie, Lance, whoever else commented, we will make sure we get you registered. For those of you that are on the fence, if you have any questions, reach out to me. I will answer any questions you have about the content, about the value, and the experience that we are creating for you in the Market Center. We are creating an experience in the Market Center for Tuesday and Wednesday for you. So let's get you registered. Let's get you going. On Friday, tickets go up. So if you're on the fence, you're just going to spend more if you do a last minute. Can't wait to experience Mega Camp with each of you next week. Guys, hopefully you saw value in this. We have it recorded, so we'll be getting it out. Rafi, David, Alan, thank you. Hopefully this was worth your time. We held 40 throughout the whole meeting. So great meeting you all.
Thank you, everyone. You guys are awesome.
Thank you.